After months of teasing through cryptic online content, weird Twitch stream takeovers, QR codes on international television, and Easter eggs giving us a hint of what was to come, the Wyatt Sicks have finally debuted on WWE Monday Night Raw right after Clash at the Castle 2024. It's understandably going viral and taking over social media with wrestling fans by storm. Following what is a similar formula to what we saw with the 2022 lead up to Bray Wyatt's big WWE return, this turned out to be another big success. WWE pushing all of their production muscles and long-form storytelling to tell us something that they can only do. A story with characters that really only they can present at this level. Pretty much anybody and everybody watching knew what the QR codes were leading to, especially if you were a diehard fan. If you were a casual fan, it was certainly intriguing to see what it could lead to. It brought out social media sleuths who helped unwrap and uncover the QR codes and what was underneath them or what they could mean. It directed fans to eerie bits of text, poetry, old 2000 style websites, creepy Twitch stream videos, and so much more. Lore upon lore, I tell ya. And then finally, on the 17th of June 2024, it happened. Everybody knew it was going to happen. At least the most recent clues that were dropped the week prior led to this date, but nobody could have anticipated how it was going to play out. The presentation of the Wyatt Sicks, yeah, not the number, the SICKS, was stunning. It was nothing short of insane, wild, and chaotic. Maybe an ending for Monday Night Raw that is just truly gravitating. A woman instantly identified as Nikki Cross crawling out of the mist, pointed at the cameraman to go backstage. It was like something out of the movie The Ring. The gorilla position area backstage right behind the curtain turned into straight horror movie scenes. There were bodies thrown everywhere. There was blood. Yeah, it looked like people were murdered. Chad Gable looking like he had a bullet lodged in his skull. It looked like even Braun Strowman or Gunther were piled up in bodies in the misty, foggy, wild scene. But there's nothing to actually confirm there. In all of this mayhem, we saw 4 more figures come into light and emerge. One of them was Uncle Howdy, a character that appeared frequently with Bray Wyatt in 2022 and a bit into 2023. It was quickly picked up on that there were only 5 beings in the group, and it was just quickly picked up that the 6th spot was eternally reserved for Bray Wyatt, or at least that's the widespread speculation. A closer inspection revealed that the identity of the 5 figures in the Wyatt Sicks was becoming clear. Nikki Cross is maybe Abby the Witch, Eric Rowan is the Rambling Rabbit, Dexter Loomis is Mercy the Buzzard with the big bird head, and Joe Gacy is playing the role of Huskus the Pig Boy. Remember those characters from the Firefly Funhouse sketches that Bray Wyatt had back during the pandemic days? Yeah, now they're being portrayed by actual roster superstars. Uncle Howdy, of course, is none other than the brother of the late great Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas. They made a significant impact and stood at the entrance ramp announcing themselves as the newest force to be reckoned with in WWE. And when Uncle Howdy said, "We're here," and blew out the light of the lantern in signature Bray Wyatt fashion, it was nothing short of goosebump inducing. Heck, even calling it what it feels like is an understatement. So why is this new group arriving the way they did set to shake up WWE for good? If you notice, there was certainly a great deal of effort made into starting this storyline, more than just about every other story out there. A lot of resources, a lot of time has been spent building to just this moment, and it delivered. Now you have to continue that momentum. WWE knows that it's going to be a monumental task to keep this story and the characters relevant and hot, following the same patterns and not following the same patterns. So it might require them to change their approach and overall storytelling. When we say the same patterns, we're saying specifically referring to the, lackluster way WWE handled Bray Wyatt. They can make him exciting, but most fans argue that his potential just was wasted in terms of major payoffs in big premium live events. We're quite optimistic that WWE is going to learn from those mistakes of the past and improve in a way such as the stories are being told now. Wyatt Sicks group could be the start of this. Let's not fool ourselves. Everything isn't perfect with how WWE handles things now and what is in pro wrestling in general. But it's clear that the team in place is now willing to learn from the mistakes and use them to create a better product. Internally, a lot of the praise of everything going on with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt lore has been attributed through some reports to the mind of Rob Fee, a long-term storytelling specialist who came to WWE from Marvel Comics. Considering the amount of care that has gone into this is likely going to lead to WWE's change in presentation and style and programming once Raw goes to Netflix in early 2025, where there's a lot of possibility, freedom, and the new presentation gives them a lot of ability to do different things like this, and maybe even have more surreal storylines than we've ever seen in WWE before. Something that's more than just in the ring, bell to bell, in the conceived reality that is pro wrestling. But we've always been able to see WWE having the best production team in the world, and they could start playing that up with the Wyatt Sicks storyline, change the way the story is told in wrestling, or the believability of what we can tell in a story in pro wrestling. Maybe this could be an exception of being the only group that isn't exclusive to one brand. This could also become a menace for the entire locker room, and perhaps even dipping in and out of NXT simply to wreak havoc. If there does come a day when there's a team WWE versus team Wyatt Sicks scenario, the Wyatts need to decimate them. That's going to be a fine line to tread, but Triple H and company likely know that when it comes to characters as out there as Uncle Howdy and company, championships aren't very relevant to get their story of pure chaos ahead. For all we know, those QR codes leading up to the debut of the Wyatt Sicks may not stop there. It could be a way for WWE to continue to engage fans while not overexposing the group, but keeping them mysterious. But more than anything, we could possibly see the start of a more dominant faction in this new era of WWE. The Bloodline's peak is clearly past them, and although they're in a transitional period, it is quite the story to be told if a new group can come in with a completely different personality and a completely different mission. With the Judgment Day, it's hard to tell if they've reached their peak as a group or not, but they may not be able to make the same kind of impact, and maybe that's not the point of what they're supposed to do anyway. The Wyatt Sicks is perfectly positioned to be the most powerful, ruthless group that WWE has seen in years, feared by every superstar on the roster and showing mercy to absolutely no one. We could see an unprecedented kind of dominance, one that doesn't need members holding titles. It's usually commonplace to have multiple members of a group hold championships to showcase how much they can beat up everyone else, but this could be an opportunity for WWE to demonstrate their dominance in a completely different and frightening way. Some wrestling purists could argue that the era of the supernatural characters is over, with The Undertaker out of the picture and truly retired. But who even said anything about the Wyatt Sicks being supernatural? I mean, they are, but they're definitely not in the norm of WWE characters. WWE certainly isn't claiming that either. It appears to have more of a cult-like horror film vibe, something that The Fiend and previous things in the Wyatt sphere have been able to touch upon. And WWE needs it to have a diverse cast of characters across the entire spectrum of TV shows and digital content that they offer. It could be a huge launching pad for Bo Dallas, and perhaps even superstars like Gacy, who were just getting started really in their WWE careers. It's definitely a hard reboot for Nikki Cross, who could find a career resurgence in all of this. What we can say is this is clear, living proof of the differences between creative teams now and from the past decade and a half. With the amount of intricate care and detail given to the build-up and anticipation, WWE knew how to make people actually care about what was coming, and then when it came, make them happy that they spent their time waiting to see it happen. This could have easily gone without the angle of Uncle Howdy appearing out of nowhere to attack Jey Uso, but this was so much better and so much more beautifully done. Just look at the details of it. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were silent throughout, and the presentation was unlike anything we had ever seen. WWE threw out some Easter eggs and silhouettes that only a few people on social media picked up on during the show, leading up to that climactic ending. The Bloodline was cinema. This was art. There was another great example of how predictability doesn't matter in wrestling when the story is told well and the payoffs are simply paying off so well. We've spoken in different videos about how this Triple H era isn't necessarily the best for predictability, but stop claiming that something being predictable is bad. When you have thorough, long-term, patient storytelling, it's worth the wait. Stop being so fickle. You don't get the payoff of something that's been built up for 6 months in 60 seconds. The goldfish attention span of TikTok has truly withered us down to, give it to me now! There was a countdown clock, there was a message saying we have arrived in the intro to Raw, so everybody knew it was coming. By the way, it was presented out of the ordinary. It feels like the continuation of the story of Bray Wyatt. Yes, the lore, everything he created, continues literally with his family and other like-minded WWE performers. And when you see Uncle Howdy hold up the lantern, just know he's there with all of us. The idea of everything that Bray created gets to live on, and that's very special, and to see it play out this way feels unique. Yes, undeniably special. If this isn't a love letter to Wyndham Rotunda, then what is? Thank you for watching. Let us know what you think is the future of the Wyatt Sicks. What would you want to see them do? Give us your fantasy booking in the comments below.